It's good to be back up in the booth, get a lot more practice for myself and James, who you just saw down in the driver's meeting. Normally the two of us are streaming up here together, and since this is James's facility, he's got to track master the race tonight. So I am going to take you guys along for the ride here, and I know we will get everything buttoned up and on board for you here momentarily. Awesome. Looks like they're already getting GoPros on there. An IMSA sticker. All right. That is just good to see. Porsche and, must be a endurance fan there. That is so cool.
If it falls off, he can pick it up. If it falls off, you can pick it up. Okay.
We will get everybody lined up here, so they're getting strapped in, ready to go. And it's going to be a really, really, really good race. I know that because these are the three fastest teens over the course of 12 months. They are on their way to the state championship here at K1 Speed Canton. Everybody getting really excited, and we will see just how well everybody does. And I know with the teens and adults making their way out to Winchester, California, it's going to be quite the challenge. Like I said, already locked in for the 12 months of racing. These juniors, teens, and adults have done, but we are racing almost for bragging rights here. It's kind of fun. So we will have onboards for you momentarily. Let's get going here with Giovanni and McKellen. All right, let's see how everybody does. I think Giovanni out there, number 42, which we will be riding along. Here is Giovanni for you. And we will have the, let's see, he crosses the line at a 29.586, followed by a 30.2. So those are first lap out laps, so I'm sure we'll see these times work down. The fastest I've ever seen someone go around in a junior kart is a 28.1, I think. There's been rumors of a 27, but I'm imagining we're gonna have some 28s, 29s here pretty consistently with these kids. It is really, really good to see them out here doing this as we roll. A 28 for McAllen, 28.5, so rolling it down, like I said, they're going to be neck and neck on this reverse track. Just getting the hang of the layout as they drive around here. I'm sure McKellen's trying to pick up on maybe the line or something. If a little closer to Giovanni, probably get a little bit of a line or see some of the turn-in points. But they won outright for their series this year, so they've already run 12 months of the forward direction of this track. So now they just got to apply everything they learned and put it in reverse, which is a lot harder than it seems. It's everything in reverse. It's almost like reading a book in reverse direction. You know what the book is, but you just gotta put the words together in the right ways. So it is good to see these kids out here having a lot of fun with this, and two-person race. So qualifying 13 laps total, which would be 12 flying laps. It should be, let's see here, 27.659 and a 28.5. So very close times, very, very close times. And the thing with these junior karts is that they run, unlike the adult karts, they do run lead-acid batteries. They are really good Optima batteries, but they are lead-acid. There is talks of upgrading them to the lithium, not to make them faster, but to make them last longer, just like the adult karts, where you want the kart to not lose power over time. As we see a 27.5 from Giovanni, really good time. Creeping up on that is the fastest time I've seen so far in a junior kart. So way to go, Giovanni, that is awesome. But just to make them last longer, you've got probably the better part of this race you'll be able to get in, but if you're running back-to-back junior races, it's not enough time to charge these batteries enough for a full charge to get them, like in an endurance race or something. So it'd be really cool if we do end up getting lithium batteries for these karts and we can run a junior endurance if there's enough interest in it. That would be awesome to see. So if we jump back on here with Giovanni as he's rounding turn 2 and then 1 backwards. So don't make me do the reverse direction numbers. I think we'll call them the same turns for the sake of argument. But it is really good to see really nice line back through there at a 27.502. So best time on that last lap. And we will take a look to see. Let's see here. As he crosses the finish line again for a 27.3, so best of his time. Very good lap. 27.3 is a really, really good time. Yeah, I don't remember what the track record here is in the juniors, but I can get that info for you guys and let you know. But that is flying. That is faster than some of the adults I've seen race here, so that's a really good time. Giovanni also is going to be in the 12 Hours of Canton. I know me and Alex talked about it at the beginning. He signed up with his dad and his grandfather, which is really cool to have your family on a team like that, and he is turning and burning in these junior karts, and you should see him in an adult kart on the Endurance Series. He's really fast, so he keeps up with everyone. Don't let the junior title on his championship mean, you know, junior as in slower. He's really fast. That McKellen is really good too as well. She, I believe, is the track record holder as of current. I do know that it is the track record, but I don't remember the time, which I will get for you guys. Crosses the line here at a 28.2, so very consistent at a 28.2 range. I've seen 28.3, 28.2, but about a second off or so of Giovanni out in front. So again, this is qualifying. They will go through 2 qualifiers and then 1 final. So they have another chance with another fresh kart to put down some hot laps and see how they're going to start for their final race, which will be a position-based race, as James said in the beginning in the drivers' meeting. Here we have our on track. You can get a good glimpse of just how fast these drivers are going. Rounding into the carousel backwards, running that tight line. White flag flies. Rounding the carousel, McKellen is on it. Let's catch back up with Giovanni as he's going back into turn 2 and then 1 and then across the line. Can he best his time? No. A 27.52, so consistent mid to lower 27s, which is really good. And McKellen's coming in here around turn 1. Final lap, nice tight line through there at a 28.621. So right around the same. So they are going to get swapped out of their karts here.
We're not going to go.
Get those ones charged up, and they're going to make their way to the front and get 2 fresh karts. Way to go, Ohio team! So glad to be able to share in this experience with you, Isaac. Yeah, so go Isaac, right? I can't root for anybody in particular, but you know, hey, this is racing. It's all on track. A little bit of updated information too for you guys, because as we pull out of the pits here, the teen race, that 22nd lap time that I saw, is going to be redone. So they actually voted, and the teens voted because there was a timing issue in the timing line or whatever it might have been. That 22nd lap time is not a realistic racing lap time here on the indoor track in reverse. So they're actually going to rerun their entire qualifier, was the vote. I think that is entirely fair. You don't know what the lap could have been or what the actual best time would have been without subtracting a lap from someone, and that's just not fair. So it's better off just to rerun the thing out of an abundance of caution, as we are on board with McKellen right now, who is the track record holder here at K1 Speed Canton. So let's see what she can do. Chasing after Giovanni there. Giovanni putting down on his flying lap a 53.274, as we see McKellen catching right up to him though at a 52.910. That is a fantastic lap time. on your out laps. So these kids warming up their tires, making sure everything is good to go, getting the hang of the kart that they are driving. Every kart's a little bit different here. Some of them, I always say, are a little bit faster on the straights and handle a little bit weaker, and some of them handle really great and are just a little bit slower on the straight. So it's all dependent on how you drive the kart. They all, as you saw in the adult series, they all wind up incredibly close on times. It's just how the driver adapts to the kart. So on the first flyer, we've got Giovanni at a 28.225 and McAllen at a 28.565. So they are going to be neck and neck in these junior karts here for the next few laps as we check on board with the gap here overhead. Giovanni flying down that front straight, and McAllen in chase going into the chicane there. You can kind of see actually from above here, great shot, that it's easy to see the line that these kids are running. And we'll do this with the adult series too, so you guys get a semblance of, you know, the line here. On board gives you a really good but very fast view at how to drive this. This overhead shot is great. As Giovanni crosses the line at a 27.682, the best so far. McAllen a little bit better, a little bit worse at a 28.748, so a little bit slower in that lap, but you know, you're still adjusting in the first couple of laps. You're always just trying to get a hang of what the kart is doing and how it is handling. It's always good just to kind of set your base couple of laps. You see Armand do this many times where he'll drive a few laps. Giovanni besting his time again at a 27.639, but you really want to try to work your way into that kart. You know, throw it into a turn a little bit hard just to see how it responds. Use your brakes a little bit. Just make sure that everything is on the up and up, and then adjust as a driver to how that kart will handle. And if you do that, you're going to be burning track times. Let's see here. Giovanni crosses the line at a 27.503. So very, very good time for Giovanni coming into the chicane here. Rounding that hard right into a hairpin left. And then this turn is challenging in reverse because it cuts out at you. So you have to make a sweeping hard right, and then a couple of left here, right here, and then a left and across the line. It's all about, look how Giovanni swings out there, hugs that corner, and straightens out right before the start and finish line. That is the way to get the most speed through that turn. So really good to see. Let's jump on board with McAllen doing the same thing, sweeping that turn. Oops, I'm sorry for that camera lag. We are sweeping through turn one back into the chicane. So, all right, that'll work. So let's stay on board here. Like I was saying, that turn, a little bit wide, bounces off the barrier, resets the kart, coming into this left-hander, immediate right, drives the middle of the track, hangs that right, and then hard left, straightens out right before the start-finish line at a 28.623, so about a second off of Giovanni, running ahead of the pack right now. There is your gap. So they started pretty much neck and neck, and Giovanni's opened up about a 1 second gap on McAllen, and that's all right. We're just out here having fun. These kids are running times that I have really honestly seen adults not run in their first couple of races. So it's really cool to see that these kids are getting the experience and the development to learn the driving of karts and handling of fast machinery like this. It's awesome. These kids will definitely, when they graduate to the teen series, they will be ready to go, and that is really cool to see. I know some of them have aspirations of going on to other racing. This is a great place to start to get your basics down. So Giovanni not really improving on his time so much. This is probably the part of the race where you'll see the karts have a tendency to slow down just a little bit from that power draw of them driving them so fast for 10 laps straight. Giovanni's going to cross the line here at a 28.114, so about a second off his time. So you really got to make sure you get your laps in before, what we saw here is about before lap 10. You got to make sure you get your laps in. These last couple of laps, work on your lines. It doesn't matter if your kart slows down a little bit because the lead acid batteries, we're working on that situation. Big thanks again to James for staying ahead and always trying to provide the best equipment. But take these last couple of laps when the kart might be handling a little bit slower and just learn your line. I always like driving around a track slow learning a line, and then going ahead and pushing it to the limit. As we jump on board here for Giovanni on his last lap, just focus on these nice tight turns. In here, this turn is a very complicated turn going in reverse, but looks like he's handling it quite well. Coming across turn 2 into the left-hander of turn 1 and straightens up across the line for a 29.065. So he ran the juice out of that battery for sure. That is really good to see. Really, really good to see. So there is your second qualifier for the juniors. Let's make sure we got onboards for the teens, because that would be fantastic to be on board with all of them. I think so far we've only got one, and that is all right. And I cannot tell if that's a 26. I think that's Isaac Travers we're on board with here, as they take off across the line. James trying to chase down with the GoPro. I appreciate that, James, very much, but you know what? We'll catch them in the next one. This is their second round, but technically they're first because they all voted. Because of Layton's 22nd lap time, that is nearly impossible on this track, we have decided to give them, or they voted to give themselves another race, which is quite fine in my eyes. So we'll see him rounding, rounding around for their first lap of the qualifier, with Savannah Weber up in first with a 28.421. Fantastic to see. Savannah Weber, one of the fastest girls here at K1 Speed. Her and her family come out. Kyle Weber, her dad, very supportive of the racing in the family. She's got two brothers she races with too, and don't ask me who's the fastest, because when they're out on track, they really battle each other. Isaac coming across the line. Savannah immediately bests it, going at 26.724 to a 27.017 from Isaac. Layton still warming that cart up, it looks like. Just getting the hang of it, getting the feel for it as they round the turn back here. Let's jump back on board with Layton. Coming across the line here, right across the start-finish line.
What's that?
These kids are flying out of turn 1. So everybody kind of warming up. Layton dropping down in the low 27s, so that is really good to see, because he is getting the hang of that cart, hanging out in there in the back. Savannah Weber there, running in the second position in the order of carts, is doing really great. Isaac crosses the line with a 26.676, immediately bested by Savannah Weber at a 26.434. Layton at a 26.734, so just a little bit behind him, but definitely got that cart working for him now. Let's see as he rounds turn 4 to 3, I'm sorry, 2 to 1 in the left and across the line. Let's see what we got here. Looks like Savannah Weber Savannah did it better. All right, so 26.248, and you can see the gap on the overhead camera here that she is starting to catch up to Isaac in that first position as far as the carts are running. She is closing that gap. I love racing like this, because you know that you're running fast. If you're closing that gap in the guy in front of you in a qualifier, you know that you're running faster than him. So great job, Savannah. Look at that gap closing up. That is great. Layton definitely getting his cart to work for him. 26.560 out there in the third position as far as the track goes. And he is definitely in contention, because I know in the first row, this will be the first qualifier, so they get one more qualifier after this. Had to correct myself there. Savannah Weber again with a 26.075 of the best lap of the race so far. Isaac with a 26.364 and Layton with a 26.560 as they're going to round the kink here around the middle of the track, coming into 3, and then the hard right into turn 2, and a hard left into turn 1 across the straight of the start-finish line. They are neck and neck right now. Savannah has closed the gap on Isaac all the way and is basically going to bump draft him around the entire track, it looks like. Savannah's running a 26.075 out there, and Isaac's running a 26.364. 3.64, and that 0.3 of a second definitely makes a difference. Watch this gap close up into these turns. She is right on the bumper of him. They are going to cross the line, and this is the part of the race where I always question in qualifiers why you don't do exactly what it looks like Savannah just did. She must have been reading my mind. Give yourself some space to the person in front of you. You don't need to be battling them. You guys can see in the last lap, they both slowed down because of that. So if you give yourself some room in qualifying, enough room if you're in David's spot where you're spotting Rachel's line in that helps you out quite a bit, but you don't want to be right up against the bumper of the person in front of you because you guys will just slow each other down by bumping each other through different turns. So we are on lap 10 of 13 for the first qualifier for the teens. The actual first qualifier was I guess disqualified in a way. They're going to redo it because the timing system had a hiccup in it. So we are running a second qualifier for them so they can get the even lap times, and we have the timing all dialed in now. It looks like on 2 laps to go, Savannah Weber at a 26.075. She almost bested her time. Her last lap was a 26.099. Coming into these last turns here, 3 to 2 to 1. Let's see what they can do. Leighton has also closed up his times quite a bit. As the white flag flies, Savannah does not best her time. Leighton looks like he was closing that gap up at a 26.613. So we will see what they can do on their final lap here. Leighton running through there. Let's jump back and see what they're going to do coming through the last few turns of the track in reverse. We've got track marshal with checker flag flying. Is anybody? Savannah with the last lap burner. All right. Savannah Weber throws in a 25.938. That is going to be hard to beat. Savannah with the last lap burner coming into the pits here. That is a fantastic time. Way to go. I love racing. It does not matter who you are, guy, girl, anything. You put a helmet on, you are equal in the eyes of the racetrack. So way to go, Savannah. So that will close out our first qualifier for the teens as we jump on board with Armanda Ligny, riding behind the number 9 of Rachel Hart and the number 36 of David Pontz. Let's see who's going to actually lead this pack. If I was Rachel coming out of the last race, I'd give myself some room. Everybody's going to scrub their tires pretty good coming into this. I'm sure the first couple of laps we're going to see just a little bit of warm-up here. And we will see what these times are. If anything is to be said about the last race between these 3 drivers was we were a thousandths of a second off of each other. So it'll be really good to see what everybody does in this qualifier. Go kart or go home. Yes, we love to stream these races. Definitely check out our YouTube as the first lap comes in qualifying. We got David Pontz at a 30.066, Armand with a 30.100, and Rachel Hart at a 31.735. Definitely giving herself some room as we jump on board with Rachel here, giving her some room to the boys up front. Armand Ligny is going to be running the fastest so far at a 26.445. So these lap times will plummet as these drivers get all warmed up. Coming through these turns here overhead across the start-finish line. David followed by Armand, followed by Rachel Hart. And we are running consistent mid to upper 26s. All right, so everybody's still just kind of getting adjusted, getting used to the karts. It is really good to see. Big shout out, big thank you to everyone that came out here to support everyone for the K1 GP Challenge State Championship here. These are the 3 drivers that will be representing the state of Ohio for the K1 Speed National Championship and World Championship out in Winchester, California. Coming up, I believe, in April, if I'm not mistaken. I was there last year. It is a lot of fun. Boy, OTL karts, their competition karts, are something else. And I love that they're going with the electric side of it, because I'm from a gas world of racing, and I'll tell you, electric is just a fun drive as it is. As we see Armand Deligny dive off, and David Pontz putting up a 26.227 on that lap. Rachel still behind with a 26.659, and Armand with a 26.445. So Armand dove out of the way there, you saw in that camera shot, giving himself some gap here to Rachel so he can work on his own line. Sometimes it gets frustrating as a very talented driver as himself to follow behind someone. You start making their mistakes instead of your line. David Pontz slowed up on that lap a little bit, 26.293. Rachel at a 26.808, and Armand coming in at a 33.276 because of that dive that he made to get out of the way. So let's jump on board here with Rachel Hart. If my camera wants to agree with me, I would be really happy with that, but we're going to have a little bit of buffering as we come into turn 1 across the start-finish line. And going around the carousel in the back, which I've called a chicane twice tonight. I apologize about that, but there's a carousel into the hairpin left she goes. Just a dab of a touch on that wall as she comes across, leaves a little gap on this, and comes into the left-hand turn of turn 3, the right-hand turn of turn 1, and the hard left turn onto the straight where you see the checkered line, and she puts up a 26.750. So Rachel probably not agreeing with that kart. You can see a little bit of push on the steering there. It is really tough sometimes to be used to driving a certain kart, a certain car, a certain bike, a certain way, and then you get in something else and it just doesn't handle the way you like it to. That is the fun of arrive and drive racing here at K1 Speed Canton, because everything's a little bit different. As you saw in the last race, probably a little bit closer to what the guys and girls are liking in their driving style, and that is all right. This one is giving everybody a little bit of a challenge, as we see David Pontz getting close to a 25. His best time is a 26.134. Armand Deligny in second with a 26.302, and Rachel Hart in third with a 26.613. David is the first to cross the line at a 26.008. So the closest we've had to 25 seconds in this race, this qualifier of the adult K1 Speed GP Challenge, is a 26.008, and this is the second qualifier for these racers. So what they do here is what they are going to get position start-wise for the final head-to-head, three heads. They are all competing against each other in the final race, which is a position-based race in reverse. All the karts are randomized, so across the field we have got all the karts are in the field, and there's a randomizer that they get to click on a computer screen that automatically generates a random kart number for them, so you don't get to necessarily pick karts. You just get random. As David came across that line, as we saw it, a 25.964. Great time by David. He is the only one in the 25s for this second qualifier. Armand Deligny a little bit behind at a 26.191, and Rachel at a 26.439. We'll watch David come across the line here at the checkered flag at a 26.060, so didn't best his time. Rachel coming across the line here. Let's see what she can do. 26.297. And Armand with a 26.226. So those two drivers pretty close. Everybody, pretty close here. We've got 26.191 for David, and we will see how that adds up to their last qualifying session. David, again, very, very happy that both his qualifiers he was in first place, meaning that he will start first on the grid for the final race here for the adult K1 Speed GP Challenge race, which will be momentarily. So what we've got until then is everybody kind of hangs out on the fence for their drivers. Great to see everybody stop out here at K1 Speed Canton. I saw a picture of Irvine, California, where everybody was at for the California race, and their entire paddock was packed, and I mean packed. There must have been 100 people there. David, we'll pretend you didn't do that on stream, but their entire paddock was packed. It was so good to see. Again, California has, I don't know, but 18, 20 different locations. So there's a ton of people that were supporting their drivers there, and they started their race at 8:30 a.m. in the morning to get everybody through the race, because there's so many different locations that need to be that need to whittle down to the California's top 3 people. So it's going to be awesome to see all of these drivers out at Winchester, California, and we'll just see what the running order will be for the Ohio Championship here, because we are one location. So these drivers have already won their year challenge for K1 Speed GP, but this is bragging rights of who out of, like I said, the head-to-head-to-head is going to be the best out of the 3 drivers tonight. So as we run a public race, let all the batteries charged, everybody's getting in their carts ready to go. We are going to step away for a half a second here. We'll leave it on the overhead shot. That way you guys can see the drivers getting ready. We'll make sure everything is ready to go, and we'll be right back with you guys here from K1 Speed Canton. I am Jason. All right. So, welcome back, everyone. Catching up with some stuff, and I apologize about that camera work there. Just getting the hang of it. Had to run down to the pits and check a couple of things out, and the adults are separated by about a thousandth of a second in between each other, but the final for them is going to be in order of running David, Rachel, and then Armand Ligny in 3rd place. So that'll be a really good race to watch. Teens are getting buckled up, ready to go now, and I appreciate the comments here. I would love to stream more of these races. If you guys comment, like, subscribe, mostly comment and let us know when you come to K1 Speed Canton that is okay. I would love to stream these races. I'm all about getting the younger racers involved and getting them into racing situations and streaming that and sharing that with the world. It's great, but obviously we've got to make sure that is okay with everyone to do. And thank you so much for the compliments. I appreciate it. I could not do it without these guys down there. It is just, there's a lot to pay attention to, as you guys can imagine. So we apologize about a couple of the onboards we forgot, but we should be buttoned up, ready to go for the finals for everyone. Here tonight at K1 Speed Canton, we've got the K1 GP Challenge. I say K1 a whole lot because that is the place, the race, and what we are doing tonight here on Competition Karting. Again, please take the time to subscribe or like to our channel. I say that shamelessly because it really does help. We want to stream this more. We want to get this to more people. We really want to showcase how great our drivers are here, but not only the drivers, the equipment we have here is bar none the best I have been to. The lithium-ion batteries here allow us to do such things as the Endurance Series and the Endurance Series leading up to the world's only indoor electric 12-hour go-kart race. So check it out, the 12hoursofcanton.com or 12hoursofcanton.com. Check us out, 12 hours, or on Competition Karting. You guys will see the endurance races leading up to the 12 hours. So please be sure to check that out. And we do want to get more of the younger drivers involved. Like I said, in the juniors, Giovanni is going to be on a team for the 12 hours, which is awesome. It's really, really cool that a young driver like Giovanni is able to compete in a pro level event like that. So it'll be really awesome to watch. So as we get buttoned up here, this is the makeup qualifier for the teens. They are running again because of that timing error that we had, and we here at K1 Speed Canton like to make sure everything is as buttoned up as we possibly can. So we let them, they voted, and we said, yeah, absolutely, you should rerun that race because we don't know what would have happened if we took that lap back out or tried to take the average of the other ones. It just takes a lap away from the other drivers. So it is Savannah Weber on the second lap of the qualifier, putting in the 26.944, followed closely by Isaac Travers at 27. I'm sorry, he just bested it, 27.063, followed by Leighton Thies by 27.173. Leighton I see on social media quite a bit posting about his racing here at K1 Speed Canton, so let's go Leighton. Awesome to see. I know he gets a lot of likes on his social media about the racing he does, and he's gotten better and better and better every time he's raced. So it's good to see just how great these young drivers are getting involved and becoming faster and faster drivers, soon to compete in the pro level and the adult level events here at K1 Speed Canton. So great to see. So let's jump on board here. I think we've actually got Savannah Weber for a lap. Isaac has bested her lap time, though, at a 26.634. Savannah at a 26.640, so incredibly close lap times here. As Savannah crosses right behind Isaac, besting his time at a 26.502. So these two drivers are running back-to-back really good lap times. So we jump on board here with Leighton back in the back, working his way up through 26.806. I say that as though he's so far behind, but he is not. That is only 0.3 of a second away as he gets a very good visual guide on the turns from Savannah up ahead. He should be able to best his time here at a 26.427 on board as it happened. Way to go, Leighton. That is a great lap time here. So he is currently sitting first. And I know with Savannah's first qualifier running a very low 26 or 25, excuse the memory, I don't remember exactly, but he is looking really good in this qualifier. Let's see if he can improve on that. As everybody comes across the line here, nobody improves on the time. So Leighton still sitting in first spot in the second qualifier at a 26.427. Way to go. That is a great time. On board again with Savannah Weber. She is racing hard, coming up close to Leighton. As you see, we're closing that gap up there pretty good. So it's good to see that she's closing that lap. Usually means that she is putting in a burner lap, which she does at a 26.368. So really good lap time from Savannah Weber there. And we'll jump on board with Isaac out in front. Now running a 26.463. Just getting the hang of it. I know it was a surprise announcement. As you see that turn that he just did there, where he went a little bit left, a little bit right, and Savannah right behind him. So Savannah just takes that line. He lets her by so he can get a good line on what she's doing. That is actually a fantastic way to run a qualifier. If you're running a little bit slower than the person behind you, let them by and then jump on their bumper. Don't bump them through the turns. Just ride just like Isaac is doing. Ride right behind them, and you'll get a really good spot for where to turn in and where they're faster than you. You can improve on very quickly by doing this. As they all cross the line, no improvements on time, but again, they made that swap on the last lap, so I wouldn't expect it right off the bat. As you see him closing up a little bit on Savannah, it does give you a really good guide to be the person behind the fastest person in the race. As they come through turns 3, 2, and then approaching the left-hander of 1 to the straightaway across the start-finish line, Savannah and immediately bested by Isaac. What a great, great view. 26.229 for Isaac and Savannah Weber with a 26.232. So again, it is a really good way to run a qualifier. If you're running a little bit slower than the person behind you, let them by, jump their line, and see what you're doing wrong and improve on your time, just like Isaac did. That is a great shot of that. So Savannah's going to come across the line here. Does anybody improve as the white flag flies? This will be the last attempt for everybody. Let's jump on board with Leighton, see if he can improve. He is not far off the pace. Following the two fastest out in front of him. Rounding the back, left-hand hairpin into the tight right-hand turn. Brings us back to turns 3, 2, and 1. As the front two round turn 1 into the start-finish line. Let's see their times pop up. They did not improve, and Leighton across the line at a 20. I missed it before it jumped off. I apologize about that. But the running order on that race, we will get momentarily for you guys as we ride on board with Leighton. Really great to see. So heading out now, we've got our juniors. And this will be the juniors' final race here. And I believe it's going to be a standing start and single file into that back left-hand sweeper turn. So they'll be able to get some speed coming into that turn. Evenly spaced out. Again, just the little things here that we do at K1 Speed Canton. Track lights. We are going on green. It's fantastic. We put all these lights up around the track so drivers would be able to see them. from any position on the track that they're at, and it is much more effective to go on the start of that as the crowd cheers on the juniors. They are off around that back turn. Let's jump on board here with McKellen right on the wheel of Giovanni in this final race. Managing that gap a little bit. Giovanni out in front. McKellen right behind. We've probably got 20 feet of difference there, so hopefully McKellen would be able to jump on Giovanni's line like that and pass him. That is what we're looking for. These junior karts on the first first out lap, 71.739. That was from the start of the race, so our first lap times are going to be a lot lower than that, but you see that gap opening up a little bit, and that's all right. There's a long race to go, so especially managing your battery through this and putting in those fast laps, trying to catch up to your opponent there is the name of the game in these junior karts. As we jump on board with Giovanni, who is already making his way back to that left-hand carousel in the back part of the track here. Not very technical, but it does set you up for your speed coming into the front part of the track here, so you definitely want to run a smooth line through that just like he is doing. Coming back in here to turns 3, and then the tight right-hand turn 2, and then tight left-hand turn 1 across the start-finish line on the straightaway, putting down a 27.398, so already almost a second ahead of McKellen out back, who is doing her best just to hang on, which is great. Only separated by a second, which in these junior karts is not that bad, but like I said, in this race, you'll be able to notice a difference because of the separation of the two karts. But I'm telling you, we have adults that don't run 28s and 27s, so it is so good to see the juniors out here running this fast. As Giovanni makes that tight left hairpin in the back part of the track, working his way through. Let's see if he can improve on that 27.2. This is lap 4 of the race, so everybody is fully charged, still ready to go. As he makes that tight left hairpin across the start-finish line at a 27.263, so does not improve upon his time, but that is all right. Still with a commanding lead, about a second ahead. You saw McKellen in the back of that shot there. Let's jump overhead, see what the gap is as the drivers work their way through the back part of the track. Giovanni making his way through the middle into the front. Turns 2, 1, and then across that start-finish line on the straightaway he goes. 27.214, so mild improvement. Not that bad. So lap 3, so almost halfway through this race. And Giovanni with a pretty commanding lead. Good to see. Good to see these junior kids out here just getting the lay of the land in these karts. As they work their way up to the teen league, it is going to be really cool to watch how these two drivers evolve. And I know we had a driver that wasn't able to make it here this week or today with us because he's already down in Florida. But all three of the top 3 drivers are really, really fast junior drivers, especially in these karts. The junior karts do go a little bit slower than the adult karts, but not by very much. If you see the lap times here at 27 and 28, those are some of the warm-up laps and first laps we see out of the adult karts. So these kids are really, really hauling with these karts. Really good to see. Really, really cool. I love it. I know they get so excited about it too. There's a lot of energy between the juniors and teens for their racing. The adults, yes, definitely, they have their exciting moments, but I don't know, it's something about a kid getting really excited about doing well in racing that is really fun to watch, just because you are the reason. You know, it can be any kart, you just have to drive it a little bit different, each one of them, and that's what these kids are learning out here today. They will be the state champions for Ohio. It is just a matter of first and second place, as we've got only a couple laps to go here. We'll see if anybody improves on their time. Like I said, not very likely at this point in time of the race with these karts, but very commanding lead by Giovanni. We've got only a couple laps to go here, and I know everybody watching anxiously down in the pits. Parents getting involved, families getting involved. I love it. This is what racing is all about here at K1 Speed Canton and competition karting. This is our K1 GP Challenge State Championship. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, please like and subscribe to the channel to see more of this. We would love to stream all the races here, all the club races that we do, all the Boost League Endurance, 12 hours of Canton, the world's only indoor electric go-kart race for 12 hours on the white flag flying here at K1 Speed Canton. This is where you find all the action. As Giovanni is making his final turns around the track, coming into that turn, let's catch up to him here as we cross the start-finish line. Almost catching up to McAllen there. Makes his last straightaway with the checkered flag for Giovanni. Followed up by McAllen. Great race. Really great race, everyone. I cannot wait to see what these kids do as they grow and evolve into teen and adult racers. It is going to be really fun to watch. Really fun to watch. They are running some really great lap times out there. So it looks like we're going to have teens up next. We are on board currently with Savannah Weber. As the gate opens here. Everybody getting ready. And here we go. Looks like we've got an onboard for Isaac, and we've got an onboard of Savannah Weber out in front. So they are going to get themselves lined up 1, 2, and 3. Savannah, Isaac, and Layton. This is an all-out race to the end. These teen drivers really put up adult times, and it's just generally separated by the age of the competitor. So as they turn 18 and start racing in the adult league, that is the difference that it makes, and they will be racing really well, really hard with the adult drivers out there because they are already doing fantastic lap times. As you can see, we will get an onboard from Layton if that GoPro decides to hook back up. I apologize. This is what I am looking at, just so you guys know. But we hopefully will get that connected back up. Let's see if I can do anything about that for you. Just give me half a second here with all of the stuff I am juggling upstairs. As we are trackside right now waiting for the checkered flag. Or I'm sorry, the green flag on the green lights. We go on green lights here, makes everything fair. You can see the lights across all angles of the track as the teen race is green. And everybody's off. Isaac immediately closing up that gap to Savannah. He is right on her bumper. So Savannah is the one that's got to control the pace of this race here. And as you can see, Isaac has already closed that gap up pretty good. So let's jump up above. Since we don't have the onboard with Layton, we'll just see where he's at gap-wise. He's got a little bit of room to close up here, but not undoable. Definitely not undoable. So Layton, have at it, buddy. And we see Isaac putting a little bit of bumper into Savannah there through that turn. Savannah takes it and runs. Another great passing zone coming up here when people go wide. Savannah stays tight defensively. Isaac's going to have the better run out of this turn. Coming on the outside, Savannah dives out. Now it's an all-out drag race across the line. Savannah still in first, defending that position very well. That gap is super close. Just keeps putting a bumper in. Savannah, I've raced with her personally. She is a very good defensive driver. Again, she's got her 2 brothers and her dad that race with her, so she is no slouch to being competitive as far as it goes. So Savannah, great driver, holding Isaac off with everything she can. Let's check on that gap here. Leighton still just the same gap behind. Working his way through. And that's the thing, is as these drivers start getting into it with each other, that's going to open the room for Leighton to jump in there and get in those top 2 spots. These drivers are slowing themselves down a little bit by fighting each other. Let's check that gap again. Look at this. Leighton closing up on it a little bit. As Isaac and Savannah fight each other, Leighton's going to come into the background there. On board again with Isaac. Just giving the bumper to Savannah. As they come in through turns 3. Oh, with the inside dive bomb. Savannah holds it off, though, grabs the inside. Really good defense from Savannah Weber. And ducks in behind Savannah to come across the line. I don't know if Savannah's probably like, I'm not going to deal with that. I got to run away from this. But Isaac keeps putting the same thing in over and over again. Look how close that gap has gotten. Leighton right back in the mix of it because these two have been getting into it. Leighton on the bumper of Isaac coming through turns 2 and 1. Isaac going on the inside. Savannah's going to defend, but Leighton right back in the picture with this. Let's see what Isaac does here. Same kind of passing area. Savannah's defending it really well. Isaac looks towards the inside, but decides better of it, which is good in that turn. If Savannah breaks wide here, that is the potential for diving through that turn. Leighton right on the tail of Isaac, though. Lap 7 of 13 here at K1 Speed Canton for the Teen K1 GP Challenge State Championship. Thank you for coming along for the ride with us. This is a fantastic race. If this is anything what we're to expect out of the adult series, this is going to be great. These teens are driving all out for that first, second, and third bragging rights of the state champions. Savannah still holding off the two guys of Isaac and Leighton. Isaac putting down the fastest lap at a 26.3. Goes purple right on the bumper. We've got Leighton back on board. All right. Now you can see the gap of Leighton. Really, really good to see him back in the mix of everyone. Isaac still trying to find a way around Savannah. Savannah's really good defense, though. Here's the drag race across the start-finish line. Savannah still has it going into that back carousel. And Isaac just can't find room to get that cart through on Savannah. Oh, dives to the inside here. Savannah bumps wide. And Savannah is again going to be on the inside. So that's stereotypical. He did that again. It's the second time he's done that. You got to be careful doing that because what happens is exactly what you saw. That driver is going to be able to maintain that inside turn, which is the fastest way around the track, and you're not going to be able to pass there. So hard bump from Isaac into Savannah. Savannah still with a lead. Opens up a little bit of gap with 3 laps to go. Coming around turn 2 onto turn 1. Across the start-finish line straight, Savannah still with the lead. Opens up a little bit more of a gap. Same gap between second and third place right now. Leighton still waiting to make his move. If these two get into it again, or if Leighton can get up on Isaac and make a move on that, that would be great to watch. But Isaac a little bit behind Savannah now. Unable to close that gap. Savannah's running as fast as she can for these last 2 laps of the race. Across the start-finish line they go. Same gap. Savannah got the message and turned the heat on to these boys. She is out of here. Coming across the final back section of the racetrack for these teens. Savannah followed by Isaac, and then Leighton Thies following it up. Checkered flag is out. Savannah takes first place. Isaac second, Leighton third. Congratulations to Savannah Weber on board here with her now. That was a great race. That was outstanding defense from Savannah Weber. Still running a 26.160, so fast laps. I don't know what the best was out of that, but she was able to defend the entire way through. So, with that, we are going to be getting on to the adults. On board here with Rachel Hart. I am sure Armand and David are going to get a GoPro as well. Randomized carts. So let's see. Looks like Rachel's trying to get her cart going. Everybody nervous about this last race. I know these three were talking about it the entire time when they decided that they were going to do a state championship. Oh, looks like Rachel's cart has a little problem there. Okay. So I don't know if we continue to do... I don't know if she gets a new cart. If they restart, it looks like they've restarted the cart. But anyway, I know that with these three racers, when they announced state championships, there was a lot of grumblings about it. There was a lot of contention. It was highly debated on, I already won second, I already won third, I already won first, blah, blah, blah. Why do we need to do this? But I think as it got closer to the race, these are true racers. Some of the best racers here at K1 Speed Canton and the top three for the K1 GP Challenge. They started getting excited about it, and so did I. I love it. I love that there's a grudge match here of maybe you didn't have the right race, maybe you didn't have the right cart, maybe you were having a bad day, whatever it might be. That was during the season. This is the end of the season. You've already got your total of points. You've already got your first, second, and third place. But let's do a grudge match on see who's really the fastest between the fastest people here at K1 Speed Canton. I love it. And I know these racers started liking it too. And here they are for the final race tonight.
I can't tell you right now.
We've got David Pontz, Rachel Hart, and Armand Deligny. This is going to be quite the race as we go finish line trackside. Love the angle. Love that camera angle. I think that was James that did that, if I'm not mistaken. It was. There's James Braley himself. Let's jump on board with Rachel in second because we know that David's in front of her. As we get the green lights, and they are off. Let's see what that gap is immediately here. They are all really close to each other. Armand Deligny is already closed up on Rachel Hart. So that will be the race to watch here as far as this goes right now. Rachel is trying to get her cart warmed up as fast as she can. On board, a little bit of a downward angle. If you ever wonder what footwork you need here at K1 Speed Canton, we can ride along with her as we jump on board with David. That camera's deciding what it wants to do in life, so we'll jump back overboard. I'm sorry, above board. David Pontz with so far a commanding lead coming into 3, 2, and 1. Has about a 2-car gap length between himself and Rachel Hart in second place. Armand with a little bit of a wider turn there. If you saw that coming through that chicane, just a little bit wide. Coming through the back. Pick him up here. Rachel has closed up the gap to David. This is where Rachel is lethal. Once she gets her cart warmed up, it is no bars hold. Get out of my way. As they cross the start-finish line, Rachel still same gap right behind David, probably just learning his line, trying to figure out the weaknesses there. As they circle through the back, that is where it looks like Rachel is faster than David, definitely in the back part of that track. So let's see them come across here. Thank you for hanging out and cheering everyone on. Great to see that. As they come across the line, 4 laps out of 13. Rachel Hart has definitely closed up on David Pontz. Trying to find her way around. She's got plenty of laps to do it. These are very experienced racers. They're not just going to throw the cart in where they have a shot. They're going to learn from the person in front of them and do everything they can to make sure they can get around clean and fast because they don't want Armand Deligny, the ghost, creeping up behind them if they make a mistake, because he will. He is not called the ghost for No reason. Look at him close up that gap already. That's because they were bumper to bumper there, messed up the line. Armand is going to capitalize on that, closing up on Rachel, coming through turns 3, 2. Armand looks on the outside for a second, bounces back in. Rachel right up on David Pontz coming through the turn here. Across the start-finish line. Let's jump back up above. They are bumper to bumper, first, second, and third. David Pontz leading the group. Rachel Hart in second. Armand Deligny in third. David able to break away there a little bit, coming into the front turns, coming out of turn 2 into turn 1. Rachel gives David a bump. Across the line they go into the back carousel, where we will pick them up coming out of this turn as they take the sharp left hairpin. Everybody, same bump coming across that. Pick them up right here, all in line. Rachel just giving him a bump. Looking on the outside there for a second. Oh, as Armand squeezes through. Rachel able to maintain that, though. That was risky. As they work that back left-hand carousel, coming into the sharp left turn back here. Sometimes good passing action through there. David looks like he's able to accelerate a little bit better out of that. Armand bumping Rachel into turn 3. They come backwards through turn 2 into turn 1. All bumper to bumper. Across the line they go with 9 out of 13 laps completed. Rachel Hart puts down purple, 26.054. Just a thousandth of a second faster than David. So these three racers trying to find any weaknesses they can exploit from each other just to be able to make that pass stick. As Armand looks to the inside, oh, he crunches that. That's where you got to be really careful diving the inside like that, buddy. I've done that too. That is a hard hit into turn 1, but he is still able to maintain composure right on the tail of Rachel Hart again, not missing a beat of it. As they come backwards into the front part of 3, Rachel looks on the outside, looking for that inside switch. Armand's going to grab that outside, trying to unsettle David here. Not going to do it. Armand lined up drag race down the back straight. That'd be the front straight. That's my bad. Going into the left-hander. As we take that sharp right, let's catch them here, see if anybody does anything. Nope, straight in the line. Down the track they go. Coming through the middle section with that hard right into the hard left hairpin of 3, right hairpin of 2. See if anybody bumps any. Nope, they gave up on that move. As the white flag flies, if you've got a trick up your sleeve, this is the time to do it. Rachel right on the bumper of David, trying to make something work out of here. Does not look like she's going to find a way through yet. As we look into the back part of the section here, nothing. Coming into turns 3, she's going to look on the outside. She doesn't. 2, nothing. Armand looking on the inside of turn 1. Cross the line. David Pontz, Rachel Hart, Armand Deligny for your K1 GP Challenge Ohio State Championship. David Pontz with the celebration. Congratulations, David. That is so good to see, buddy. He is beyond words right now. I know he was out here during the week. Me and Alex talked about it at the beginning of the stream, trying to get the line down. Hadn't run reverse in a long time, so just didn't really feel comfortable with it. So he was out here during the week running laps. And I really think out of that qualifier, him getting that point with Rachel really helped him out on that time, put him out in first, and really all you got to do is defend well. That is so great to see as we see a shot of Rachel getting out of the cart here. Sorry, I just missed it. Saw it on my screen about 5 seconds ago. David getting out of his cart. Beyond exciting for these three drivers. So good to see. David gives Rachel a hug. Rachel, in the overall of the 12 months, was the first place. Got upset, moved to second by David Pontz. So big congratulations to all the drivers Thank you, everyone, for coming out and supporting the drivers tonight. Big thanks to James. You see him down on the left-hand side of that shot. Owen, track worker, throwing the flag for the race. So good to see. I hope someone grabs a GoPro into the pits because that would be great. David waving hi. Hi, David. Congratulations, buddy. So good to see. This is why we do this. Best 3 drivers out of the K1 Speed GP Challenge tonight, head-to-head, all 3 of them. David Pontz comes up on top, upsetting Rachel's first-place season-long finale finish, or season-long finish. So that is awesome. That is really, really good to see. I am glad that happened. I know there was a lot of grumblings about the whole thing, and as far as I go, if you want to take the 3 best racers in a state or from the state, and you've got the 3 best racers from each facility competing against each other, that's the only way you're going to find out is that kind of race right there. So I am glad you guys came along for the ride with me. So great to have you. Please like, subscribe. It really helps us. We really want to do more of these streams. The more you guys know about it, the more you spread the word, the more it helps. Also, please stop down at K1 Speed Canton. These are the karts, these racers you just saw putting down 25 5s, 25 4s, 25 8s, all these 25s and 26s, and even the juniors, 27s. Come race these karts. They are for you to drive and for us to race. And then as you drive them more, you'll get to race with us. I can't wait to see you guys here. Check out Competition Karting on YouTube, which you're at right now. Competition Karts on Instagram. And be sure to follow up. We have driver interviews coming up for you guys shortly. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I'm Jason from K1 Speed Canton, Competition Karting. Have a great night. All right. So totally lied. Let's do this. You know what they say about hanging around for the credits. This is the second time, so I feel like I'm a marvel as he moves the entire thing. So we've got, go ahead, grab that. We've got David Pontz up here. So you're back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
I was up here a week ago.
Awesome. So we ended the show twice.
Ended the show twice.
We did.
Explain it.
Well, we decided that we didn't know anyone was going to go to the pits, so I said goodnight, have fun. And then James jumped on, and
sorry, I'm out of breath.
We went. Oh, don't worry.
Ran up the stairs.
It's a long run from there and up of a flight of stairs. I do it all the time. Just swish some water around your mouth, and you'll be all right. But
be fine.
So upsetting the order. Congratulations, man.
Underdog story, my friend.
That's it. That's it. From third to first, right?
Hell yeah.
Okay. So what do you think? I mean, we talked about you coming and running laps and stuff like that during the week because you said you weren't comfortable with it during the week a little bit. So you wanted to get more of the rhythm down, what you were doing wrong, where you're losing time. And it seems like you worked that kink out.
I don't race Boost League.
Okay.
That's primarily where you guys run reverse.
It's true.
So I have far less experience than the 2 of them running it.
Mm-hmm.
I came in earlier this week. I put laps down. Sorry, I'm so excited. I'm so excited that I'm going home with the trophy. That's good.
Yeah.
Even though I was going to anyway. But, yeah, I've always been a practice guy.
Mm-hmm.
When I started GP way back when we first opened, I didn't think I was good enough to compete with anybody. I don't remember who it was back then, but I had to come in and put times down and tell myself that, hey, I'm finally going to compete.
Yeah.
Long story short, I won my first GP.
Yeah. Okay.
So I came in and did all that practice, and then, oh yeah, you should come to GP, and I went home with that. So
yeah,
I'm over the moon right now.
Awesome, dude! Congratulations. It seemed like
I'm hoping the "Let's effing go" didn't show up on the stream when I was yelling.
There was a couple back end mistakes that I'm sure we'll have to post edit out of it, but that's all right. I mean, I had a channel open that I shouldn't have. So that's all right.
I had a camera on my back, didn't I?
There was cameras everywhere, and I lost track of them for a second, but I got a hang of it. But so it seemed like in your first qualifier, like you were running, and then with Rachel out in front, you were really able in qualifying to kind of dial that in. That's what I was wondering. Like I was telling the viewers, like if you are not so confident in a way to run, if there's someone that you feel like runs it better or does run it better, if you jump behind them and mimic their line, sometimes that is the best place to learn your mistakes sometimes and add to your portfolio of how to handle the track.
It was less of following her and more of, so here's the joke, right? So Rachel is Sonic.
Right.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Right? Armand is a ghost.
Very true.
Or the ghost.
Yep.
Well,
creeped up on you guys in that last race.
You saw this on the stream.
Yeah.
I'm the wolf that chases.
Okay.
So tonight I was hunting ghosts and hedgehogs.
There you go.
But no, during the first one I specifically wanted to be behind her for that reason, just to see some things.
Yep.
But like you always do better in a race chasing.
Very much.
You always do. It doesn't make any sense, but you always do better chasing.
We saw it happen in the teens too. The same thing happened.
Yeah. If I'm during the 12-hour, during any GP I've ever competed in, if you chase, it's faster.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
Yep.
But I needed something to run after.
Yeah.
And I mimicked a little bit, but like I said, I came in, I practiced.
Yep.
My fastest time when I was when I was practicing was 26.0.
Okay.
All 3 races I did backwards, 26.0, 26.0, 26.0.
So there was just that little tenths of a second off.
Yeah, I knew I had the consistency. I knew where I could improve, and tonight I got it.
That's awesome.
Now the second race is probably the more interesting one you want to talk about.
Okay.
Okay. So I went out, and Armand was following me. I held Armand up. Like,
saw that.
I did that on purpose. Like it seemed
Totally
like
saw
everybody.
that.
It seemed like everybody but Armand figured that out.
He didn't figure that because I even saw that.
I don't remember how many laps he was behind, but eventually I look back and I'm like, okay, he's not back there. Let's go.
Yep.
But like while I was holding him up, I put down like a 26.2, and I'm like, there's no way I'm holding this guy up and still going that fast. That's
Right.
That's when I'm like, okay, let's put a lap down.
Yeah.
I gotta protect this. Luckily, I didn't have to.
Yeah. Well, even in the second one, you were the only one in the 25s.
So excited.
So, yeah, it's awesome.
This is so awesome. And I've been nervous about this for a while because I don't think I'm going to get to go to Cali next year for the Nationals.
Okay, so this year is everything.
Just based on who's running now in the GP, and it's gotten a bit harder.
Yeah.
But like, maybe I'm overreacting, but like I want to go out to Cali. Rachel and Armand have been there before, raced the karts, run the track. I'm at a huge disadvantage.
Yeah.
So to go out there with a title
Yep.
just means the world to me.
That's so cool, man. Congratulations.
I'm going to get one of these jackets that says Ohio State champion on
Yep,
it.
that's it.
And actually, we had thought about. I'm going to talk. You should not have invited me up here. We had talked about getting a fake WWE belt.
Okay.
That said Ohio State K1 Speed Champion, so that you could show up to the track with that around one arm.
I love it.
Just for funsies.
Yeah.
But the one other thing I'll say it, and then we can keep going. Is like the way this was because we didn't have anybody to compete against. It was just us.
Yeah.
One, we're so thankful that everybody was following along and watching and all the comments.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't even notice that when
it's
I walked
insane.
in.
I could not keep up with that.
That's nuts. I'm going to have to read some of them later. I hope they were good.
Yep.
Nobody was rooting for me when I looked last time.
You got a lot of good jobs, a lot of them.
Hey, my mom and my dad told me I did a good job, so that's all I needed.
There you go.
That's all I needed.
Is it a hi mom moment?
Yeah. Well, the last time one of them was filming me, I'm like, "Hi, Mom. It's me. I did it." Like the Rocky moment.
You're always good for the animation shots. Like if we go to you, it's always you're always waving or doing something.
Well, you know
it's
what
great.
You see what the twins do when they celebrate.
Very much
They're
so.
like, yeah,
super animated. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to get up and scream because that's what I do.
But you also won. I mean, that's amazing. So you turned it around, wind up with first place.
I'm so happy.
In the state of Ohio. So,
happy.
that's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Rachel has to take that off her resume because she already had it on there.
Yeah. Well,
I was telling everybody this tonight's race was a WWE fight leading into an MMA fight because it's all semantics, but it was for a title, and I'm so happy we did this.
I love it because out of 12 months, you miss a month, whatever it might be, but you wind up in the running.
Rachel was the only one who showed up every month, I think.
Yeah, and it to me, it's like it's a final grudge match or like a last chance qualifier where like you might have had a couple off months or whatever it was. Even if you're consistent, Rachel came every month. You have that last chance that everything is on the line. What do I have to do tonight? And you certainly showed exactly what that's all about.
That and props to Rachel because I think she won. I think she's gone home with more first place trophies out of the last year than anybody. I think I had one. I think I had one, maybe two. And I raced 10 out of the 12 months.
Wow.
So
okay.
so I came in third. Realistically, I was only maybe 4 points off of Armand, but consistency is what counts.
That's
and
it.
If some of the newer guys show up every month, because I can't, I'm on call, so I can't. I'm not scheduled to be here every month. But if those guys show up, it's going to be really hard to even sucker my way into a third place to qualify for nationals.
There's some really, really competitive drivers here, really fast times. I mean, even the teens, once they graduate into the adults, they're going to be really fast. Watching some of the times tonight is insane.
I've said for a long time, half of those kids, when they move up to our league, I'm retiring.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm not competing with them.
Yep.
Savannah's just going to keep getting faster.
Absolutely.
Was it Isaac?
Isaac.
And then Leighton.
Leighton, yeah.
I know Mason's mixed in there somewhere.
Yep.
And geez, don't even talk to me about the twins. They move in, it's going to be a whole different race.
No,
we're going to have to start cheating.
Yeah.
They'll appreciate that. But,
yeah, they will.
But yeah, dude, I'm so pumped.
Again, congratulations, man.
I've been fired up all day for this. This is the best outcome.
Well, you put in the work and you made it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't remember seeing Rachel or Armand here too much running reverse. You made it a point to come freshen up on it.
I think Armand was in Canada.
Okay,
that's
so
his
his excuse.
His excuse.
Okay, so we can hang the coat up on that one.
But he's
then.
the mastermind.
Yeah.
So he should be able to run it anyway.
It was a surprise. I thought Armand
had to make sure he wasn't standing.
I know Armand being the ghost though. So when you two Rachel started bumping you, slowing you down a little bit. Armand did creep up in there, and there's a couple shots where Armand really did try to stick it. He almost Salerno'd a couple of them, but he got paid back in turn one. I was waiting to
turn around and see him. Yeah. That's what I was waiting for, but
he tried to make it stick, but that turn one hit that he took was brutal, and then he kept up with you guys. So.
I started brake checking.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every time, so I'm pointing at the carousel. There's a lot of different screens. I'm having a hard time focusing.
Yeah.
But you go around the carousel and you go into number 5, not number 5, number 6. Mm-hmm. That's where I kept getting pushed.
Yeah.
I got hit one there, and I slammed the brakes.
Oh, stack everybody up.
Try and stack them up, and then I would just try and get away with it. And I kept screwing up number 3. I know that much.
Yeah.
They kept catching me there, too.
3-2-1 was really the most exciting part for a lot of the races because people would take different lines, defensive line, they'd take the inside, and then someone would scoot outside, and then you'd push them wide. But it was the same story across all of them, or the teens and the adults, where
no doubt.
If you squeeze it, you still have that inside line as the leader, so you will take that next turn.
Obviously, I was in the race, so I didn't watch. I haven't watched the adult one, but watching the teens, that was hilarious to watch.
Yeah.
Especially with them being so close together.
Isaac slamming into Savannah into that turn.
Dude, even in the qualifiers, they're like this close to each other in the qualifiers.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Yeah, well, you guys were thousandths of a second off in your first qualifier.
I was the only one that put down less than a 29, right? Or I'm sorry, not a 29.
25.
I put down a 25.88. But I don't think Armand or Rachel managed to squeeze past the 26.
Second one, you were 25 and they were 26s. Yeah. But I don't know. Tons of fun. Tons of fun. So congratulations, man. It's one of those things I love to see it. You put in the work and you make it happen. Yeah. And I looked at it as like I said, a grudge match, which is like, okay.
It was a grudge match.
It really
it absolutely was. I've been talking all week about making Rachel salty.
I think you accomplished that. I mean, she's a competitor, so she's going to be mad. But of course, it turns into it is the race. Here's the race. Here's the winner. So
I gave her a hug.
Yeah, I saw. We saw that on the stream. But
thank goodness.
Yeah, no, that was awesome, man. Good way to turn it around from third to first, and there you go.
And it's not like they're gonna get me back. They're gonna get tonight. I won, but come Cali. Like I said, they've got way more experience than I do in Cali.
Cali is a heck of a ride.
On the K1 circuit and in the 60-mile-an-hour carts, I don't have nearly enough experience to handle that. So I'm hoping, like, first week of April, Pittsburgh opens up.
That's I was just talking to the Webbers about that.
Or possibly maybe Mid-Ohio. But, like, I need to be in one of those carts and I need to have some idea before I get on the plane.
Driving California, I told the Webbers the same thing. I said, if Pitt Raceway, the go-kart track around here, opens up, drive the gas carts. It'll give you the elevation change need that the elevation change knowledge that you need out in California.
I didn't even think about elevation.
Because California have elevation change. So it's an awesome track. I drove it last year, and it is a ton of fun. The carts are insanely good. Just so long as everything's buttoned up on K1's end of it, it's going to be a fantastic race.
Let's not mention that.
It'll be fine. But
it will be fine.
It will be. I guarantee it. But
it's got to be better than last year.
It's going to be fine. But no,
we got to focus on the 12-hour first.
12 hours will come first, and you guys are all on a team together.
Yep. Team
So
Supersonic, 1, 2, 3.
that will be
Hopefully 1, 2, 3 in Cali for Nationals. That'd be
Yeah.
stellar. I know James would be happy.
yeah. So yeah, 12 hours first, and then onward to California. But Dave, congratulations, buddy.
Thank you so
and
much.
Way to turn third into first.
Thanks for watching, guys. Like you're the reason these guys still do this.
Yeah, it's
Otherwise,
very true.
otherwise we'd just do what everybody else does and not care.
Yeah, and I think it's cool for other centers that did this today to come, watch what we did. So
Did you see
California?
the pictures from California?
I
Oh,
talked
my
about
God.
that. I mean, it
That
was.
place was swamped.
I don't know how many locations they have out there, but it's way too many
I think
for
it's
something like that.
14 running. I think
No idea.
they put up. Well, I mean, they put up a bunch of new ones, but I don't think they qualified this year.
Yeah, their
So-
whole paddock was full, but
Yeah. So you got to think every location times 9, plus all their parents, plus everybody else they brings with them.
yeah,
It's nuts.
awesome. All right, Dave, thank you so much.
They're giving him signs off screen to close it out because I'm just gonna keep talking.
That's all right. Hey, thanks guys for hanging out with us late, and this is probably my final goodbye. And Dave, where's your trophy again? There you go. Congratulations, man. All right, thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you soon.
I am the waving guy.